Hi friends, and welcome back to another video. Today is unfortunately another surviving trauma story time, but the point of these videos is for me to, okay, number one, it's for me, and I say that because it really doesn't matter whether I post a video and it gets 0 views or whatever number of views, because for me, first and foremost, it's for me to get these things off my chest and almost like to therapize myself or therapeutize myself, if that is a word. I don't know if it's a word. Someone correct me in the comment section below. Anyway, so for me, this is really important. It's really important for me to say these things out loud. It's really important for me to document this process, to document my progress. And so first and foremost, I guess I'm my number one audience. I'm my number one audience, and should this video reach someone else who needs to hear today's message, who needs to be affirmed, whose experiences need to be affirmed, then all the better, then more of a win. Okay, so today's video is going to be about how being traumatized, how being abused as a child triggered my food addiction. I do have to share a trigger warning because the topic itself is sensitive and emotionally heavy, but at the same time it's something that we must discuss. But before we get into the video, I also want to take a moment to give a special shout out to the family members who reached out to me about me being molested as a child. I really appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure that the 5-year-old me, who is not here to speak for herself today, really appreciates it. I appreciate your kindness and your compassion. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So today's story time, as I've just shared, is about how being abused as a child triggered my food addiction. And honestly, just talking about this, it's so deflating, but at the same time, it's something that has to be discussed. I'm just gonna say something. I don't know who needs to hear this, but talking about trauma is difficult. Hearing about trauma is difficult. And I'm pretty sure that perpetrators, abusers, rely on that. They rely on the fact that, number one, most victims of abuse are very likely not to be believed. And number two, they rely on the weight and the discomfort around talking about abuse to get away with doing heinous and disgusting things. Okay? Anyway, let's get into how being abused as a child triggered my food addiction. So this all started when I was 9 and the abuse was discovered, and I felt so ashamed. I felt shame in all caps. I felt guilt in all caps, and most of all, I felt disgusted. It felt disgusting to exist in my skin. It felt like I wanted to claw the skin off my bones. I wanted to not exist, and because I was 9, I really didn't have the vocabulary to express what I was feeling. I didn't have the support system. To lean on and say, this is what I'm going through. Even as a child, like even with a lack of vocabulary, I really just didn't have it. And so I turned to food to console myself and to dull the pain. And unbeknownst to me, to the 9-year-old me, that would give birth to a lifelong struggle with body dysmorphia, with food addiction, with disordered eating, basically. And this is something that I would say that this is something I've struggled with my entire life. I'm now 29, and this is something that I've struggled with consistently for the last 20 years. And so I just wanted to talk about it as one of the side effects of being abused as a child. And I know that this is in no way unique, and it's so sad and disgusting how common this is. Because I would say that 1 in 3 homes, I would say there's at least one child being abused. And if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section below. And so it's so disgusting how common this is. But that's all the more reason why I must talk about it. This is uncomfortable for me to talk about. I will probably have a good and proper cry after recording this video, but I must talk about it. I have to live in the discomfort of talking about it, in the hope that that 5 to 9-year-old child will one day get peace, will one day get real and proper and complete healing, and one day find peace. So coming back to the topic at hand today about food addiction, I just wanted to talk about it in a multifaceted way. The first one being that sorry, I have a neighbor who is recording me, which is really bad or something. But anyway, I have to continue on with the video because I can't walk over to somebody's house and be like, can you please stop recording me? Anyway, and so body dysmorphia, disordered eating, food addiction, I have to talk about it because I feel like societally we love to shame fat people. We love it. It is like this, it's like what do you call it? It's like hunting for sport. So we as a society, we hunt fat people for sport, and we go after them and we make them feel disgusting about themselves without understanding or without even wanting to understand what could have contributed to that disordered eating, what could have contributed to them existing in the body that they do. And I feel like as a society, we just don't care because we're looking for someone to shit on. We're looking for a place to punch down. And I feel like that's just, I feel like we have colonization to thank for that. I feel like we have the patriarchy to thank for that. I feel like we have capitalism to thank for that. That it's always to look for, okay, who can I exploit? Where can I assert my dominance, right? And this is, I feel like it's hard to talk about one without talking about the other. It's hard to talk about addiction to food, disordered eating, without talking about the effects of the aftermath of being a food addict, the effects of the aftermath of, okay, so what happens after you were addicted to food? Most likely you will have an unhealthy body. Most likely you will have a body that is overweight, and that comes with its own unique set of challenges. And I wanted to cover this to lay this as a foundation for talking about body positivity, dealing with body dysmorphia in future videos, and just have this as the groundwork from which we build, because I know that my situation is all too common. And for people whose food addiction did not come necessarily from being molested as mine did, it still came from some form of abuse, which you may as the victim be aware of or not aware of. But either way, I'm hoping that talking about this right now here in this video today will help uncover some of those traumas for you, will help bring them up to the surface so you can start to deal with them and you can start to chew through them, and hopefully in the years to come find healing and find just peace for yourself and for the future. You know, you might want to have children, you might want to have a healthy, long-lasting relationship, and all these things are really hard to do when you're carrying around so much emotional trauma, so much emotional baggage. And so I'm just talking about all this stuff because I want all of us to heal. So I want myself to heal, I want my inner child to heal, and I want to use my pain and those dark, disgusting memories in the hope that I can bring healing to somebody else outside of just myself. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.